Hello, hello, hello. We have a new chapter of Dr. Stone, number 95. In the last one, they seem to have found oil in the manner that it was traditionally found in Japan. This oil field in Sagara, originally discovered by following a boar that was covered in oil back to the source. I don't know if that's a true story. I meant to actually look it up. Given that it's from 1872, it sounds like it probably is true, but it has like a very mythical feel to it, doesn't it? It sounds like the sort of thing that you would hear in like a collection of fables or something. Um, so they're gonna follow the pig to the oil. Once they have the oil, they can start building the ship in earnest, I suppose, given that there's no other kind of required ingredients as far as I know. But, you know, as soon as I say that, it sounds kind of naive to say we're good to go now. Surely there is no other challenges or obstacles before us. Alright, here we go. Wait, what? Ooh, it's the 2-year anniversary of Dr. Stone. So they have some color pages at the start. That's nice, that's nice. 2 years, wow, it feels like a lot longer than 2 years. Already the series has had memorable moments to fill a decade. Good lord. And I feel like, I don't know, it has such an eagerness. There's no sense of like filler. There's no sense of stagnation or repetition, such that I have a hard time imagining it just becoming one of those massive sprawling shonen series that just go on forever. But at the same time, it's so good, it's so consistently good, and it seems to be selling really well and is well liked, that it's hard to imagine it just stopping either. But wow, only 2 years. Okay, so they're doing another character popularity poll. That's pretty hype. Those who enter the Japanese polls can win a chance to show up as their petrified selves on Dr. Stone. Oh, yeah. As Chrome points out, they did that last year. I kind of meant to like see if I could notice any of the random shots of statues that like I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like somebody real. But that's actually a very hard task, given that they're always gonna draw them to look real. So I'm not really sure what I hope to spot there. I think it's so last year. This contest needs a little power up. This time, your statue will appear in the anime. Ooh. Moving around and stuff. I guess Chrome knows the word animated, even though he doesn't have any concept of what anime is. Of course, they're talking about appearing in the manga and stuff, so the fourth wall is totally discarded on this page. Yeah, the anime. I'm pretty excited for that. I hope they do a good job. I'm not sure if I'll watch it or not. I'll only watch it if I hear that it's like really fantastic. Typically, I don't bother watching anime for manga that I've already read. Get some more. It's like nice little credit page. Oh, I see what this is. It's a little unfortunate, like, because most of the time I want to read in the mode where it's just one page at a time. But I guess when there's spreads like this, I guess we haven't had a spread yet since I've been using this method. But there I'd want to switch back to full. This is a pretty intense opening page. Here I cannot imagine these waves looking good in print anywhere near as good as they do in this purely digital form. Like if you were to print this and scan it, I don't know how you would be able to get this this clarity and this detail. So that's definitely an improvement that the Viz scan has, I think, over any of the other ones, is that they're working from digital first RAWs. Which is pretty cool. Hey, where's the character poll, though? Maybe it's at the end? Or are they announcing that... oh, okay, they're unveiling that they're going to run it. So it's not the results of the poll. Okay, I'm looking forward to the results of the poll. Okay. So Suika, with her uncanny animal interaction ability, being led back to the mud hole where this little piggy likes to play. He's called Sagara. Whoa! Making friends starts with learning each other's names. So the way she said that makes it seem like she just learned his existing name instead of having named him, which is like a huge coincidence that the pig is named Sagara and they're going to Sagara oil fields, but whatever. But they see it. The black gold. The Texas tea. The mysterious black puddle. Ooh, Senkyu about to show what oil can do in the most dramatic way. Lighting a match? Is that something you have? Phosphorus bound and gummy residue to the end of a tiny little stick? I guess you would manufacture something like that. It seems useful. Smelly black water isn't water at all because it burns. Let's bring our ship to life. Oh, I'm really excited for this ship. Something about the idea of like a large community coming together to build a ship has always really inspired me. And ever since I was really small, I can imagine this scene where it's like a big kind of tiered Colosseum thing. It stretches like up and up and up, you know, and that on each ring, it's just like all of these people working on things. And I think I saw this in like an illustration in a book. Maybe one of those books that shows like cutaways of things, you know? And it's like everybody is all doing their own thing on each tier. And it's just like an overload of detail and activity, like a buzzing hive of people. And then down in the very, very middle, connected by just like a few planks to the rest of it, is a boat that they're building. And for some reason, this image in my mind is just so vivid. I have no idea where it came from, but I can remember even as like a little kid thinking about this image. And so something about this, I hope they can, in some way, recreate the feeling I get when I think about this this concept in this boat building arc. One Piece, I think, also does a really good job with the boat building arc, the whole galley law shipbuilding company and stuff. Yeah, it's a cool project, you know? It's like, it's a real human endeavor type of thing. Alright, so now they have a pump. We see Sui Ryu, whatever direction his name goes, working here on a stationary bicycle, which is pumping and pumping the oil out of the oil field. Senkyu here has a oil lamp. The way that works is that you have the wick dipped in the oil, the wick draws the oil up it, and then the flame is constantly just burning the outside oil of the top of the wick. I point that out because a lot of people think that it's just like the wick itself is burning, but no, the wick is wicking, if you know the verb wicking, it's wicking up the actual burning thing. This is how candles work too. It always confused me as a kid. I was like, shouldn't that string just go like, that's it? But no, it's constantly coating itself and saturating itself with the actual fuel. Anyways, so they got oil. Now we must deal with the ugliness of Suiru's ownership. We're returning maybe to the whole capitalist venture. I'm not really sure what will come of it, but we'll see. Good job, Sagura. Oh no, but is Sagura still dinner? Ooh, and this is interesting. Senkyu here asks Francois, is this boar even worth eating? And the way he's doing it, I think he's trying to spare the boar without looking like he's just giving mercy to it, you know, to make Suika happy, but instead like, oh, I have to, it's not even worth eating. But I think he's also kind of feeling out, what sort of person is this Francois? Will she go along with this accommodation of a child's heart? Or will she be very stern and say, no, every pig counts. We need to make a lot of pork. But the stink of the oil. Let him loose or bring him home. It's up to you. Nice, nice. It's bad for morale if we don't acknowledge the chief's accomplishment. That's a good question. How soft is Senkyu's heart, really? And their balloon, of course, still making their aerial photography trips. Oh, the piggy got a little braid thing. Their like signature knotted rope. I like that all of the past people have that somewhere on their body. That's like the marker for that group. And then all the future people have either cracks or residual stone or whatever. It's cool. It's a good visual distinction. And then you can tell at a glance and remember what kind of attitude these people are having towards the whole situation. Whoa! Damn, motorboat with the sunglasses. That old man, he sure has a real sense of style. Stirling engine, concrete, converted piston movement into heat differential. This reverses the project and uses a hit to operate it. So it's like just a normal gas combustion engine, I guess? I think? I don't know. Huh? Love potion? Oh! Way back at the start of the series, right? Senkyu is making Taiju a love potion to help him get the confidence to confess. But of course it does nothing. Right? So did he incidentally make the same placebo thing that he made Taiju way back at the start? He still remembers that smell. That's pretty cute. Wow, the art style really has changed. You can see it in this little intro panel here. That was gasoline. Aww. Oh, that's good. That's good. They were able to make gasoline. That's right, because he was able to match the smells. Good. Last bit of science he did in all the was making gasoline. Finally got caught back up to that point. We're about to go beyond. Oh, it's going so fast! The boat of science. Gen does not look like he's having fun. In so many of these latest adventures, Gen is just like screaming all the time. I think we're gonna get to a point where he's like, "All right, guys, can't we just stop now? we made the Coca-Cola, we made the ramen noodles, we even got bread now, real bread. Can't we just stop? We're gonna get killed." I don't know. It does not seem like he's well suited for this. Oh, look. Okay, so it's another spread. You have to spread out the spread. Look at that ocean. So this must be photographic manipulation, right? There's no way that he was able to generate that water texture on his own. I would think. I don't know. But it's pretty beautiful. It's a good effect. I really do like the combination of drawing and photography that some mangaka use. Inyo Asano being a chief example. So they're way out, way out. No land, water in all directions. Chrome is freaking out a little bit. It's kind of lonely. One thing to know that, another to see it firsthand. It is a pretty uncanny experience. I've only been in this situation once. When I was 12 years old, I went to England with my dad. And he found this thing where shipping boats that were making the journey already will rent out cabins in the crew section to tourists for a pretty dang cheap price. So we took a shipping boat across the Atlantic Ocean. It was really cool. A very memorable experience. But yeah, when you get out far enough that you can't see anything in all directions, it's just blue. Endless blue, wherever you look. It's it's something. It's a little shaken. And I only kind of like at the time, I was pretty impressed, and then I went back to playing like Mega Man Battle Network or whatever. But looking back at it now, it's like, wow, that was quite a thing to behold. Highly recommended. It's a pretty cool way to travel. So anyways, they're way out there. But they still got the sextant. They're trying to figure out how they can make their way home. How they can chart course. Alright, we're going back into one-page mode. We're making GPS. And everyone but Chrome is shocked. How the heck could you possibly make GPS in the stone world? GPS is about as sophisticated as it gets. There's satellites in geosynchronous orbit, which means that they're always above the same spot of the Earth. They rotate at the same speed of the Earth. That alone is crazy to me, that we even have the capability to launch things into geosynchronous orbit with that much confidence. And then they manage cell phone signals, GPS things, anything else that requests the positioning service by triangulating, that like 3 satellites will hear the wave. I'm using very technical terms here. The DENPA, if you will, comes out of the cell phones, and then because they have 3 spots, they can like, you know, from that you can tell, like if there was only one, you wouldn't know if are they here or like here, you know, or like whatever. But by comparing 3, anyways, so you need 3 satellites, not just one, but 3. Is my point there. And then, in order to actually make it accurate, the amount of calculations they have to do to account for things like the delay, which moves at the speed of light, which is not instantaneous, but still the speed of light that the actual signal moves, and special relativity, because being up in orbit, even though they're in geosynchronous, they're actually moving faster than the Earth, right? Like that makes sense because they're going around a larger sphere than the Earth, being way up in the sky. So because they're going slightly faster, that means that their perception of time is slightly slower. That's some real Einstein stuff. I can't do the Einstein tongue. Looks like that. Anyways, so yeah, GPS requires an understanding of special relativity in order to make it accurate. So it really does seem like the forefront of technology and physics and everything. So what the heck does Senku mean when he says we're making GPS? Let me think. So the satellites are likely still up there. I don't think they fall out of orbit. Or did they talk about this already with Mir? Did it fall or not? I don't know. There's like no way that you could possibly start the process of being able to encode something that can send the signal to the satellite. Like that requires like microprocessing and stuff. So it's not GPS. I don't know. I give up. Let's find out. Cell phones and car navigation systems had it. Technology determines location based on signals from satellite. Satellites are beyond our capabilities. Instead of using satellites up in space, we're going to shoot out crazy strong radio waves from a tower back on the mainland. Wow, and they've already done it. Okay. They have this thing sending out a huge super denpa in just a tall tower, which is good enough. And then we've got our sonar man. So analog, it almost feels a little slapdash. Yeah, just trying to find it. Oh, strongest here. That way is the tower. And here we have Kohaku's sister, named Forgotten, Ruri, talking with her BF, perhaps, Kron. Oh, she's got a little thing that kind of looks like the rocket ship emblem tied around her waist. How cute. Anyways. Oh, Ruri, yeah. Got it. Most phone call from Kron. He was too cowardly to tell you how he really felt. Ooh! Ooh, wow, we're actually getting development along these lines. Cool. I kind of thought that was just like a yay, and then move on. We never really think about it again. But she might actually confess here. Confessing to his heart, all aflutter, way out in the sea, even though he thought they were the last people on Earth. That's so nice. Birth static out of question. What a cliche. Wait a minute, no. Got a strong signal from somewhere. Too saturated, tell a direction. Interesting. Ooh, very interesting. Something else is sending out the denpa. Something else is sending out electrical waves. Very, very interesting. Okay. Senki looks troubled by this. This is not something he expected. This is no natural phenomenon. This is deliberate. It's tuned to the exact same frequency we're on. Activated a powerful signal tower. Someone or something took notice. We've already run into anyone else who got revived. Ooh, Morse code is coming through. Why? Oh, why? Why? So it's not something that was just constantly broadcasting this whole time, because it happened during the call with Ruri. It started, right? So they sensed the tower, they picked that up in something that's monitoring a whole range of frequencies, and then very quickly they tuned something broadcasting to that same frequency and sent out this message, why? Why? Okay, this is pretty interesting. This is a twist that I did not see coming. I kind of thought it would be, you know, smooth sailing, so to speak. I thought we got a system for introducing new characters, that they're reviving people. We've got like a mission with all sorts of fun mini arcs along the way. I was like, I get it. I get how this series is going to work, but no. There's something else. Someone else. Why? Oh, that's spooky! Why does it have... Okay, so I guess it's something spooky because it's spooky, because they made the spooky face. But... yeah, that's pretty spooky. Okay, there's no getting around it. It's just very spooky. And Senkyu with an evil grin. What does he think is going on? What is his theory? Why? Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. We're going to breach a big topic here. Because this kind of reminds me of something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, which is Oumuamua. If you don't know, actually, we can do a little bit of research. I'm allowed to show you things like this still, even if we're never ever going to show a page of manga again. So Oumuamua is the first and currently only interstellar object detected passing through the solar system. Now this already surprised me when I first heard this. I thought it was kind of a fairly regular thing for things to fly right into the solar system and out again. I thought that's like what most comets and stuff were. But no, actually all of the comets we've observed, all of the asteroids we've observed, everything like that has actually been in orbit around our sun. Which makes sense if you think about it, because most things, when they pass through, are going to be trapped in the sun's orbit. And most things, like there's like a cumulative history of everything that's been trapped in the sun's orbit that we would like keep seeing it, you know, versus things that just go right through. Only very recently have we had the ability to even notice things like this. Only in the last 50 or 60 years would we be able to really track objects passing through the solar system very quickly. So it makes sense. It makes sense. So then the question is, what is this thing? You would think probably immediately, oh, it's just like an asteroid, it's a comet, something like that. But the properties it displayed are a little weird. When it went past the sun, of course, it kind of accelerates as it moves towards the sun because the sun's gravity is pulling it in. And it broke through the gravitational field of the sun and kept going. It didn't fall into orbit, which was expected based on how quickly it was moving. But then it slowed based on the gravity of the sun pulling it back, but it did not slow as quickly as we predicted. Oh my god, how exciting! It didn't slow as quickly as we predicted. So they had a couple theories for why this would be. One is that it is a comet, and the comets, when they get close to something hot, start melting a bit, and the discharge of what they're melting is what forms the iconic comet trail, and that also can accelerate it a bit. Excuse me. But none of this comet residue was detected. They would have been able to see that. It didn't do that. The way, the kind of properties that it has are much closer to kind of like a normal asteroid. But the shape that they think it is, a lot of places will say it's cigar shaped, but it's hard to tell. It could be several different things, because of course we can only see our one satellite, or I keep saying satellite when I try to explain this to people. Telescope, radar telescope thing. We can only see like one perspective of it. So it's either like a kind of long cigar shaped thing, or it's like a very flat thing. It might be like tumbling in some way. We don't really maybe know too much about it, how it physically looks. But if it is a big flat thing, another theory of why it's not slowing as quickly as we predicted is that the photons from the sun are hitting it and propelling it forward. And this would make it very similar to a technology that we're actually developing here and now called a solar sail, which is a perspective ship that we could send out to report back from other solar systems, because it can accelerate very, very quickly. It can just kind of drift through space without any fuel consumption because it's just getting hit by photons. Anyway, so is it aliens? Is this an alien solar sail that has been sent out unmanned to just go check out some solar systems? Which is exactly what we human beings are planning on doing in the near future. I kind of think so. I think I'm on team aliens. So it might sound crazy. You know, whenever you start talking about aliens, people think you're crazy. But this is the most sane form of alien contact I could possibly imagine, you know? Like, really think about it. It's something that we're already capable of. It's something that, like, we've proven it theoretically should work. So it's not too unreasonable to think that other intelligent civilizations would develop something similar. Like the ornithopter in Magic. This is good. Oh god, we're on such a tangent here. I'm not even close to explaining why this chapter of Dr. Stone reminded me of this. But maybe you can already figure out where I'm going. Oh, it's a real thing. No, where's the flavor text I wanted? Regardless of the century, planar species, developing artificers never fail to invent the ornithopter. So maybe there's actually a reasonable thing to think that similarly, no matter the plane, century, or species, developing artificers never fail to invent the solar sail. We've only been able to detect something like this, as I said, for a few decades now. So it's not that crazy that if things like this actually do pass through the solar system decently often, that this would just be the first one we saw. I think, too, I read an interview with a guy that's on Team Aliens. He's a pretty accredited person, which kind of cuts both ways. You know, like he's staking quite a bit of his reputation coming out and saying something as crazy as I think it's aliens. But at the same time, he's also involved with a team that's making the solar sail project. So the fact that he's always talking about solar sails, and he's got me talking about solar sails, and probably a lot of other people talking about solar sails, it's like, you're just trying to hype up your solar sail project and maybe line up a few more billionaire investors. Anyways, so, you know, that I'm not trying to, like, argue from authority there, because I recognize that cuts both ways. But in his interview, he said something that I kind of changed my perspective on what would happen next. Because the plan with our solar sails is that they'll go to where we think there's planets that might have intelligent life, because they're in the hospitable zone, not too cold, not too hot, from the sun that they happen to be orbiting around, just like an alien civilization might have monitored Earth from a distance and sent a solar system to Earth. And then once it gets there, we're going to collect data and send it back to Earth. Similarly, this thing might be sending data back to some alien planet. However, this thing has been in space for hundreds of thousands of years. So the planet it's sending back data to could be totally devoid of intelligent life already. They could have nuked themselves into oblivion, just like we could easily do. They could have melted all of their ice caps and flooded their world, just like we're doing every single day. So it's like, we can't really even expect anything to come from this, for anything to prove that this was the case, because I feel like in all likelihood it is just sending signals back to no one, you know? This is kind of bleak, but for some reason the bleakness, I guess this is maybe saying a lot about me, but the bleaker it is, the more I can believe it. And it just, the whole thing just kind of reeks of like underwhelming truth, you know, that really, when you think about it, isn't this the most likely way we would end up encountering aliens? And I really do think there must be aliens out there. If you look at the scope and the size of the universe, if you look at the seemingly fairly basic building blocks of life that you would think are probably happening on dozens and dozens of planets every day, just given how many planets there are. Like, you look at something like Drake's equation, and you start kind of coming up with these conclusions. I don't know, man. I kind of think it's aliens. But even though I'm saying, like, oh, isn't this kind of the most boring way, isn't this the most bleak way, and thus isn't the most true way, it's still incredibly romantic and compelling to me. This idea that just alone out there in the void between solar systems, flying, and then finally just appearing as just this blip that acts a little erratically, you know? And that's kind of all the recognition we have. And yet, it might have been that we just witnessed far and away the greatest discovery in modern human history. Stuff that's up there with, like, wheel or fire. Aliens. There's something else out there. That's still pretty amazing. That's still pretty beautiful. And I had the same vibes in this chapter when they're out there in the boat. And I was convinced, like, oh, this is going to be it. There's going to be no more living people. Our cast is going to be made up of depetrified statues and the village that descended from Senkyu's father and the other astronauts. And yet, there's just this, like, blip. Then it turned out to be a guy shouting, why? But when I first conceived it, like, oh, maybe something else out there, I was like, ooh, it had the same suspense to it, same romanticism, and in some ways kind of the same understated feeling of truth, the really kind of underwhelming flavor of truth, that it wouldn't be that like a helicopter would land and would be like, oh yeah, man, we've been unpetrified back in America for 500 years. We're back up to helicopters now. It's crazy, right? No. Instead, it's going to be like just a strange signal. That's it. Anyways, we've been talking for a while. I really find this thing fascinating. Most people seem to be not on Team Aliens. Not that special. Aliens found us. Sure, except no. I don't know. You can make up your own mind. I've read quite a few articles about it now, but yeah, I kind of like the idea. Team Alien. I'm on Team Alien. All right, let's look forward to next week's chapter. It's quite fascinating. This new development, and yet I feel like it kind of changes nothing. Like, what else are they gonna do? They're just gonna go back to working on the boat, and they're gonna. Oh, I guess they could try to contact this guy via radio waves. Send something back in Morse code. Could pan out. I don't know. We'll find out.